Have you ever wondered how a single leader, armed not with overwhelming wealth or endless armies, but with unshakable faith, justice, and discipline, changed the course of world history forever? What Islam's 1,400-year history says about Umar ibn Al-Khattab, RA, is not merely the story of expanding borders across deserts and mountains. It is the remarkable account of a man whose heart remained humble while his responsibilities grew beyond imagination. After the passing of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, RA, the Muslim community entered a new chapter filled with uncertainty and enormous challenges. Powerful empires surrounded the growing Islamic State, believing that the young Muslim nation could never survive against the military strength of Persia and Byzantium. Yet Umar, RA, understood that true success never begins with numbers or material power. It begins with sincere faith in Allah, complete obedience to His guidance, and unwavering commitment to justice for every human being. Before planning campaigns or organizing armies, he strengthened the foundations of the Muslim community by ensuring fairness, accountability, and unity. He constantly reminded governors that leadership was a trust rather than a privilege, and every decision would ultimately be judged by Allah. His personal lifestyle reflected this conviction, for despite ruling one of the fastest-growing states in history, he continued to live simply, wearing patched clothing, walking among ordinary people without pride, and personally investigating the needs of widows, orphans, travelers, and the poor during the darkness of night. This extraordinary humility inspired confidence throughout the Muslim world because people witnessed a ruler who practiced what he expected from others. Soldiers marching under his command were taught that victory was not guaranteed by swords, horses, or military tactics alone, but by righteousness, patience, honesty, discipline, and sincere reliance upon Allah. They carried with them not only weapons, but also a moral responsibility to protect innocent lives, respect agreements, avoid oppression, and demonstrate mercy even in times of conflict. As neighboring empires observed the remarkable unity and discipline of these believers, they underestimated the spiritual strength that motivated every step forward. The Persian Empire possessed enormous wealth, experienced generals, and centuries of political influence, while the Byzantine Empire controlled vast territories stretching across important cities and strategic trade routes. From a worldly perspective, the Muslim community appeared far too small to challenge such mighty civilizations. However, history repeatedly proves that determination rooted in faith can overcome obstacles that seem impossible to human eyes. Umar, R.A., carefully selected capable commanders known not only for bravery, but also for wisdom, integrity, and fear of Allah, ensuring that every military decision remained connected to ethical principles rather than personal ambition. The stage was now prepared for events that would astonish the ancient world, as faithful believers stood ready to face empires whose power had dominated nations for generations, unaware that history itself was about to witness one of its most extraordinary transformations. As the Muslim armies advanced beyond Arabia, every step revealed that Umar ibn Al-Khattab, R.A., viewed expansion as a responsibility rather than a pursuit of glory. What Islam's 1,400-year history says about this remarkable period is that every campaign was guided by principles that placed justice above conquest and accountability above ambition. Commanders received clear instructions to protect civilians, honor treaties, safeguard places of worship, and avoid unnecessary destruction. These values distinguished the Muslim forces from many conflicts that had shaped the ancient world for centuries. The decisive encounters with the Persian Empire demonstrated not only military courage, but also extraordinary perseverance. The mighty Sasanian Empire possessed vast resources, battle-hardened soldiers, and a reputation that had intimidated neighboring nations for generations. Yet the Muslims remained steadfast because their confidence rested upon faith in Allah rather than worldly calculations. Victories in crucial battles gradually weakened Persian resistance and opened the path towards cities that had once seemed impossible to reach. Meanwhile, in the West, the Byzantine provinces of Syria witnessed another remarkable transformation. Strategic planning, disciplined leadership, and unwavering unity enabled the Muslim forces to overcome formidable opposition despite facing armies that greatly outnumbered them in equipment and experience. Every success reminded the believers that patience, preparation, and obedience were stronger than arrogance and oppression. As Syria came under Muslim administration, Umar, preparation, and obedience were stronger than arrogance and oppression. As Syria came under Muslim administration, Umar, R.A., focused immediately on establishing fair governance instead of celebrating military triumphs. Courts operated with justice, taxes were regulated with fairness, and local populations found that their rights and property were protected. Religious communities were allowed to practice their faith peacefully, demonstrating that Islamic leadership sought stability rather than forced conversion. Soon afterward, attention turned toward Egypt, a land renowned for its fertile valleys, thriving cities, and immense strategic importance. The campaign demanded endurance, wisdom, and careful coordination, as the journey itself tested the resolve of every soldier. Despite difficult conditions, the Muslim forces advanced with remarkable discipline, and many communities recognized that the new administration offered security, justice, and organized governance. Yet just as these extraordinary achievements unfolded, an even greater challenge emerged beneath the surface. Expanding territory was far easier than governing it wisely. Every new province brought different cultures, languages, traditions, and administrative needs. The real test of Umar's, R.A., leadership was no longer winning battles, but preserving unity across lands stretching from Arabia to Persia, Syria, and Egypt. History often remembers victories, but lasting civilizations are built through justice after the battlefield grows silent. Umar, R.A., understood that corruption, injustice, and arrogance could destroy an empire more quickly than any external enemy. Therefore, he appointed trustworthy governors, monitored their conduct, required financial accountability, and removed officials who failed to uphold Islamic principles regardless of their status. This unwavering commitment ensured that the expanding Islamic State rested upon integrity instead of fear. The world watched in amazement as territories once divided by conflict gradually became connected through a system that emphasized responsibility, fairness, and service to the people. Still, the greatest lesson was becoming clearer with every passing year, because the true strength of this historic expansion was never measured by the land that was gained, but by the character that sustained it. The enduring legacy of Umar ibn Al-Khattab, R.A., reminds every generation that the greatness of a civilization is measured not by the size of its borders, but by the strength of its principles. What Islam's 1,400-year history says about his remarkable leadership is that true success begins within the heart before it appears in the world. Although the Islamic State expanded across Persia, Syria, and Egypt, Umar, R.A., never allowed power to replace humility or authority to silence accountability. He understood that every achievement was a blessing from Allah and that every leader would one day stand before the Creator to answer for every decision, whether public or private. This awareness shaped every policy, every appointment, and every judgment throughout his caliphate. He encouraged honesty instead of corruption, service instead of privilege, and justice instead of favoritism. The people under his rule witnessed a leader who walked among them without pride, listened to their concerns without barriers, and accepted criticism without anger because he believed that truth was more valuable than personal reputation. His example teaches that lasting influence is built through sincerity, sacrifice, and unwavering obedience to Allah rather than temporary displays of power. Even today, historians continue to study how a rapidly growing state remained united despite its diversity of languages, cultures, and traditions. The answer repeatedly returns to the same foundation: disciplined leadership guided by faith and moral responsibility. Umar, R.A., established systems that protected the weak, strengthened public administration, supported economic stability, and ensured that justice reached ordinary people as well as influential figures. His vision demonstrated that successful leadership requires wisdom during victory and patience during hardship. Every challenge became an opportunity to reinforce trust in Allah and strengthen the character of the Muslim community. The expansion into Persia, Syria, and Egypt was therefore not simply a series of military accomplishments, but a living example of how righteousness, organization, and compassion can transform history. The lessons remain as relevant today as they were 14 centuries ago, because every individual faces moments when integrity is tested by temptation, responsibility is challenged by difficulty, and faith is strengthened through perseverance. Umar's R.A. life encourages believers to remain firm when circumstances appear overwhelming, to lead with justice even when it is difficult, and to remember that every action leaves a legacy that extends far beyond a single lifetime. His extraordinary journey proves that sincere devotion to Allah can inspire ordinary people to achieve extraordinary outcomes without abandoning humility or compassion. As we reflect upon this inspiring chapter of Islamic history, we discover that the greatest victories are not merely those recorded on maps, but those written within the hearts of people who choose truth over falsehood, justice over oppression, and faith over fear. These timeless lessons continue to illuminate the path for anyone seeking purpose, courage, and unwavering trust in Allah. If you're benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.